As you all know, I'm Daniel Logan. I played the little Boba Fett. As Jeremy calls me, Baby Boba. In episode 2, but you've also been able to see me grow up in the Clone Wars. Well, I'm here today not because of me, but because of these guys. The leaders of every fan group that we all admire and want to join, from the 501st to the Rebel Legend to the Dark Empire to, I mean, every single the Mandalorian mercs, I mean, every group that we all would want to be a part of. And we have the leaders right in front of us today. We have my pocket. We have the Dark Empire, which we have Alex McKeel and the Brutal One representing. We have the 501st Legion, of course, and that's Chris Kuiper. We got the Jedi Assembly, and that is our one and only Jedi mom, Carol Gilbert. We have from the Mandalorian mercs, we have Big Tom Hitchens, and the Rebel Legion, we have James Norman. We don't have a big enough table for all of us, so we're just going to sit together on each other and everything else.
We all love each other.
I'll stay. I'll be sitting all day. So, I wanted to ask you guys, starting with you, Chris. What is your title in the 501st, and what are you currently ranked as?
I'm the Legion Commanding Officer for the second term. That's a year and a half. I've been the commander of the entire 500 virtually worldwide. 52 countries, and after this weekend, we will be inducting our 10,000th member and going to 5-digit numbers. So that hopefully will last us for a minute.
Characters that you've played along the way, and what are your ranks within the Rebel Legion?
I am the social media officer of the Rebel Legion. The character I play is Wedge Antilles, and thanks. And we're at 2,000 something members, and we have 42 bases, and we're a worldwide organization as well.
Jedi Mom, Carol, what has been your best memory of this whole Star Wars world and being inducted as our Jedi Mom?
I'm a mother to all, yes. I'm Carol Gilbert. I'm the CEO for the Jedi Assembly, and I've been a fan since the very beginning. I just love to see all the costumes, I prefer the light side Jedi myself, but we have a very great Kit Fisto, who is just fantastic. He has the grin and everything. It has to be just watching him go around and the kids come up to him. It's just amazing, the kids, their reactions when they see everybody in costume.
And we got Alex and the Brutal One. What are some of the things that you guys are working on right now? And tell us a little bit about other groups that you guys associate with and also are in this universe.
No problem. My name is Alex McKeel. I'm the Sith RE of the Dark Empire, another international Star Wars costuming group. We're officially around 5 years old, but we had a revamp about 2 years ago. We're 162 members currently, but we're growing fast. We represent those costumes in our canon and custom Sith, also dark and gray Jedis. Very many costumes in our organizations, but we do a lot of work with kids throughout the globe. What part of the groups, what area we have, but we also have great number of costumers, and we got some members who have the best costumes, I think, ever represented our custom creations, but some of our canon characters have great costumes as well, so I can't narrow one costume representing a TDE saying that's the best, because I think they all are great.
I'm Giuliano, they call me the Brutal One. Lord Bruticus is my name. I really like the term Brutal One. I'm the Tyrannari, the public relations I just wanted to say that I think the question was, who are some of the groups that we affiliate with, and well, the answer to that simply is everyone sitting here. In TDE, our aim is to work alongside everyone else, the legions and the works, and everyone that wears a costume named Star Wars for charity, which I think we find is why we're here. I want to mention though that we're not the only groups out there, but we're here today because we represent Star Wars on an international level. Each group here represents, as Chris Kuiper says, almost every country in the world, just about, it seems like. And TDE initially, one of our co-founders lives in New Zealand, so we're right off the bat we were an international group. There are other groups out there like Saber Guild. There are other groups out there like Outer Rim Brigade that are starting up. They have other costuming focuses, but for us in TDE, it's Sith or Jedi, Great Jedi, SW2 stuff, and movie era canon costume. And our two builders, we want to mention them too, of course. They build R2D2s.
Can't forget the droids.
The droids are the only people. R2 is the only thing that can upstage Vader. So. Can't forget the droids.
And then last but not least, of course, the guys that I love hanging out with, the Mandos. They wear the same outfit as us. What is your role, what's your title, and what do you do for our boys for the Mandos?
Okay, well, I can't really stand up right now.
So this is how us bounty hunters get treated. Really, they just pass me that. My arm is a little heavy. Move that thing out of the way.
Okay, well, my name is Tom Hutchins, and I am the founder and the CEO of the Mandalorian Mercs. Within the Mercs, I'm known as the Mandalore. Mandalore the Uniter is the title that the members gave me in 2008. It's not something I gave myself. I don't believe in people giving people themselves anything. You earn what you have, and that's the way the Mercs runs. We're somewhat of a meritocracy, where what you do defines where you're at in the group. We focus on Mandalorians. We run our club very much like the way the Mandalorians were written in Star Wars EU, mostly by Karen Travis and now Jason Fry and some of the other authors out there. We have 650 members worldwide, which is awesome, considering 2 years ago we had 300. So we are a very quick growing organization. We've got 47 chapters. Just opened up a new, we call them clans, just like they did in Mandalorians. We just opened our newest one that covers France and Switzerland, so that's awesome too. But we focus all on Mandalorian armor. We run across 5 different eras, from the Old Republic, early era Crusaders, late era Crusaders, Neo Crusaders, and then what we call this style armor, which is like the modern era, which is Boba and Jango. Those guys that you see in the movies mostly. And then the Legacy, which is Legacy of the Force, which is 140 years in the future. So you read mostly about those in the comics. So that's where we're at in Mercs. So.
And one funny thing is, actually, I was the first honorary member to be part of the Mandalorian Mercs. Before Jeremy or Tim went to Mars, they asked me, so that was kind of funny, you know. Making a hit on it. So, Chris, as a 501st member, is it like different, how can I put this? Do you associate Jedis with bounty hunters, with Vader, say with EU characters?
Oh.
Are they in different categories in the 501st, or is it just all known as the 501st? Like would I say I am a TK 501st or a DK?
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, I mentioned the numbers, and that we're going beyond 10,000 numbers at the end of this week. The number comes from the scene, TK 421. Where are you? So it's like, hey, okay, there's numbers. I guess we have to be numbers. We're the bad guys. We are Vader and Stormtroopers, EU as well, canon-based from the films or any official graphic representation. And yes, we have 14 detachments now, which are subgroups that specialize in the research and definitions of the different costumes as we go. And the Blu-ray release really messed us up. It's like, wait, freeze frame. Uh-oh. There's a duct tape. Do we need need to allow duct tape on the, these aren't the droids you're looking for, trooper nails, because there it is on the film.
The new customized.
Yeah, exactly. But no, and we've researched, tried to figure out what it is. So we have the 1st Imperial Stormtrooper Detachment. We have the which is Stormtroopers, the MEPD, which is Sand Troopers, Flagship Eclipse, which is EU, Clone Troopers, Sith Lords,
Snow troopers. Snow troopers.
Snow Troopers, Bounty Hunters, and there was something. Sovereign Protectors, which is the Royal Guards.
TIE fighters.
TIE Pilot.
So, Alex, is it the same with, say, as the Rebel Legend, Mandalorian Mercs, Jedi Sibling, and Dark Empire, the rest of this? Do they all work the same way? I mean, I guess for the Mercs it'd be different. We're all kind of dressed up the same.
In the mercs we have what's called the brigades, and those brigades revolve around profession-specific armors. They are costumes that you see a lot of our members wear. We have a brigade for recon, which covers, well, I should say spec ops, which covers guys who specialize in assassination, like assassins, reconnaissance. We've got assault, this heavy assault brigade, which is basically guys like me who are armored to the teeth and have these huge weapons. Pilots, we have Mandalorian pilots, and they all have a specific list of ingredients for those costumes that they have to go by to fit within that brigade, because being in the brigade means you do have some similarities between the next guy that you would see that would probably be carried over to the next person. So that's the only part of our organization that is really outside of the canon costumes, where you might see some people that look somewhat similar. So.
And this question is, I guess, for Alex and Bruno. Do you guys mostly associate with the darker Jedis, or more or less the Jedi, or is it a mixture of everything? I mean, I've seen Lord Bruticus here, his YouTube videos, and he actually represents for his women's posse really well through that. So I was just interested, is it only Jedi, darker Jedi, or is it just a mixture of them?
We can take canon Jedis or from the Jedis found within the movies, such as Earth Tone Jedis, what we would consider more great Jedis. The ones that are more in the expanded universe are those are found with darker colors or black colors. We consider them dark Jedis. The Sith, we do have custom Sith and canon Sith. The custom Sith is like, as I Nick coining the word cheesecake.
Yeah, you had to mention that. I'm kind of infamous on Facebook for my cheesecake affinity. Whenever I eat a slice of cheesecake, I take a goofy photo and upload it. I want to mention too, the Dark Empire also recently announced that we'll also take bounty hunters on the Mercs, but we consider ourselves sister groups with the Mercs. Tom Perry announced that recently, so we'll plan for that. But no, we'll take, for example, like Cad Bane, as long as it's Sith affiliated, like in Clone Wars, Cad Bane it was revealed that he was hired by Darth Sidious, and so therefore Cad Bane is an acceptable character in the Dark Empire. As long as it's a Sith affiliated bad guy, we're happy to have him. And we'll take a custom version thereof. So if you have like a Cad Bane, but he's tweaked a little bit differently, if he's got, I don't know, green pants or something, we definitely would look at that. And our membership officer is over here, she's nodding. But anyway, so yeah, that's kind of how we are in TDEs.
On the
There's
flip
no
side,
disintegration, there's no discrimination.
Right.
Alex, we all know the Rebel Legend. Do you have anything to do with the website? If so, how? The fact that it's Star Wars universe.
Yeah, I don't do so much with the website. I am more with, I post pretty much everything on Facebook and Twitter comes from me. Other than that, I am also a costume judge. I do a lot of that for the pilots as well.
Carol, sweet Carol, right? As a club and a club member, what are some of the charity events and other organizations you guys do besides these conventions that some of us may not know about?
Yeah, Jedi Assembly is very highly associated with the Vasculitis Foundation. Vasculitis is a family of diseases. There's several different diseases that are part of vasculitis, and these are basically like orphan diseases that no one hears about, no one gives research for, but I'm very close to it because my husband has a form of vasculitis, and he's been battling it for 16 years, and we've gone through a lot of battles with him, medical battles and such. And it's so hard to get anybody to, even the doctors don't know about it a lot. So I work a lot with the education and for trying to educate patients, educate doctors even, and of course fundraising. We're doing a charity event down at our fan table at 452 for the Jedi Assembly, where we're making holocrons, and for $2 you get a holocron, you get to choose a color crystal to put in it, and then you get a chance, a drawing. We're giving away a child's custom-made Jedi costume, as well as other prizes. We're having a separate drawing for adults to win a Force FX lightsaber. So, these are the diseases that you don't hear about unless you watch House or something like that. So.
Chris, pretty much the same question. The 501st has been part of this convention work for a very long time, and as a big fan of you guys, I've not only seen what you guys do walking around conventions, making the kids' days or terrifying them or whatnot, but I also been able to enjoy and see you guys doing like hospital work and toy drives and stuff like that. Can you tell us a little bit about all that?
Yeah, I mean, in general, our sort of default charity is pretty much Make-A-Wish Foundation. And we do a lot of stuff with Toys for Tots, but we also let our local units pick up a charity if they want to. Last year, we had somewhere in the neighborhood of $750,000 direct contributions worldwide, and indirect we had something in the neighborhood of like $18 million that we influenced for little girl who was sort of like hiding in the corner. They bring the kids down to us. And she didn't want to come out. She kept looking. We were there for about a half hour, and she finally comes out. I was doing the Darth Vader. She finally comes out and just hugs my leg. She couldn't have been more than about 2.5 feet tall. And then she went away. And then she came back, and she started asking Darth Vader questions. And then she'd go away. And by the end of the time, Darth Vader's like one of those little kindergarten tables coloring with her. She's just chatting away, and we're having a great conversation. Then she leaves. And one of the nurses comes up to me afterwards when we were suiting up. She goes, "She's been here for 7 weeks and hasn't spoken a word to anybody." That's the power of the Force.
Interesting stories or fond memories of charity events or conventions that you've been to and had the same kind of effect as we have from Chris?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we do a lot of events for Autism Speaks. I'm based out of Chicago. We do a lot for them. We get so many stories and things from the parents where they say, how Star Wars itself is such a big help for them with the kids being able to relate to people and do things, and when they see us, they go nuts, and it's phenomenal. It's just an absolute phenomenal thing.
Oh no, I've seen it at a convention. I stood next to you guys and they run next to you like, "Can I get a picture with you?" And I'm like, oh, maybe too young. Didn't watch the Clone Wars yet. Alex and Roberto, obviously we shared a charity event together. One of the most beautiful little ladies that I ever had the pleasure of being able to help was a little lady called Princess Leia. We call her Baby Leia. That's what I call her. But we did a charity event in California, City of Industry. And the Dark Empire came out, and we actually was able to raise a little bit of money to help this little lady and her family through all the difficulties that they were actually going through. And having a child like that, you can't imagine what it's like to actually have struggles, you know, just in everyday life, just to be able to raise someone that you love and you cherish is part of you. Tell us a little bit more about the other charities, or what is one of the most funnest ones that you have, because that's probably the most funnest one I have with you guys.
Anyone that knows me, go a little bit on get out of character here since I'm Sith. I'm being a little out of character, but I'm a member of multiple groups. But I've done a lot of charity work over the years. But there's one in particular I'll never forget. It was a Ronald McDonald charity, and Ronald McDonald House charity. And there was this young boy. He sees stormtroopers, he sees TKs, and he just wanted to see a Jedi. And that little boy, that's all he wanted to see was a Jedi. And the family, to this day, are just good friends of mine, and their name is the Sherlock family. And they got a home recently done by a string major, and they're good friends of mine to this day. But we became friends. But there's one thing I want to say about the Dark Empire, about raising charities. Last year was our first year tallying our charity total for the year. So last year, the Dark Empire accumulated in help in indirect ways and some direct ways total last year for our first year collecting and raising money for charities over $550,000. We're very the one thing I can say, and I'm trying not to get emotional now, kids is the future of this hobby, and when you make a kid smile, every penny, dime, nickel, whatever you want to put in these costumes, makes it worth every penny, because when you see that kid smile, you can't help but smile back, and it makes you forget the troubles that day. And I'm just proud to be a part of not just the Dark Empire, the Jedi Assembly, and the Rebel Legion, even the 501st.
And the Mandalorian Mercs?
Not yet. I will be soon. But, you know, I respect every one of these people up here, and because we do it for kids. We don't do it just for dressing up in costumes. We do it for kids. We do it to carry on Star Wars, but we do it mainly to make kids happy every day. And I am very, and I can't say that enough, I am very honored to make kids happy. And for even if it's a kid in a hospital, if we can make that kid happy, I'm so happy to see a kid happy, because, you know, that kid may have chemo the next day or may be sick, but we're making them forget their illness just for one day. And I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
What about you, Joey?
I just want to add a little bit to that. You know, and especially with a kind of a newer group like the Dark Empire, you know, we're fighters a little, like I said, 2 years ago, we kind of went under the rebound. And we're at 162 full members at the point, whereas, you know, some of the other groups here have thousands. We couldn't have done that, what we've done, without the help of everyone else here. Specifically, when Daniel Logan trooped with us in California, for Princess Leia and baby Leia, there were several Mandalorian Mercs there. There were a couple of TKs there, some of them were the Legion, a bunch of Saber Guild members. So we couldn't have done that just as TDE by ourselves. There were only 2 or 3 of us there, and so by coming together, we really did pull off. And on a Wednesday night, I believe it was a Wednesday, in just a few hours, we raised $700 for Leia that night, more than 700. And on August 4th, another example is that we had over 30, more than 30 members, again, of all of the different fan groups here, came together at an orphanage in Pasadena, California, called Hillsides. And there's an photo album on our website in our gallery, the Dark Empire Award, and it has a trooping report. And I got to tell you, from this past year and last year, there are 66 orphans at that orphanage, a very fitting number. Not all of them are Star Wars fans, but what we did is we had them, they watched one of the Star Wars movies first, and then we came to the Star Wars universe, came alive right afterwards, and more than 30 of us came and visited. And I remember just the work we do, even non-Star Wars fans absolutely love it. And, you know, like Alex was saying, there's no greater reward in the world.
Tom, are you guys working on any charity events right now, or what was the last one you guys did?
Oh, wow, okay. Well, in the Mercs, we take our charity a little bit different than the other groups in the fact that when we first started Mercs, we put a lot of thought into how can we integrate what our characters do in Star Wars into charity. Because we like to really keep ourselves steeped in the whole Star Wars portion of things. So when we first created Mercs, we said, well, we're going to create our own kind of little charity thing, and we named it the Vertica Fund. And in the Mandalorian language, Vertica means little warrior. So we've always called our kids, Vertica, the little warriors. And what we would do is our clans would go out, they would find kids at Christmas that were underprivileged, or maybe they were orphans, who weren't going to have a Christmas. And those clans would raise money and would go and adopt those kids at Christmas and give them a Christmas. They would go right out to the kids, they'd be dressed up, they'd find out what the kids wanted, they would buy it all, we'd spend hundreds and thousands sometimes of dollars to get these kids the presents that they wanted for Christmas. And we'd take them out there, and the kids they would love it. I mean, it was like, you can't put, words really can't describe what it's like to see the look on a child's face when they see their heroes bringing them their Christmas. I mean, it's very emotional. So this year, this January, this being our 5th year, we took one step further, and we took our Vertica Fund and we actually turned it into a nonprofit charity. So it is, we're in the works with the IRS for getting our actual 501c3, but it is a nonprofit charity at this point. All of our chapters around the world, they work with other local charities and other international charities, but they all also work with Little Warrior International, as we named it, fitting name. And what we're doing down there now with our bounty hunt, all that money is going to, well, most of it is going to go to Little Warrior International. We're also carving off a little piece of it and giving it to Princess Leia, because her parents have always been such a big portion of our group. And we have really been helping that family out pretty much since Leia was diagnosed with, well, since she got sick, since she was born. We've been really raising money for them as well. So, there's so many stories I could sit here and tell you about the first time I was actually personally involved when we did one of these Christmas adoptions for a child in North Carolina, which is where I'm out of. And their family's house had burned down a couple months prior. They had 3 children from 2 to 6 years old, and the grandfather, who the husband had been working for, had gotten cancer, so there was no job there. They were, basically had went from having being middle class to being destitute. The kids were not going to have a Christmas. All the Christmas presents had been burned up in the house. The father was a huge Star Wars fan. His entire collection was destroyed. I mean, it was not good. So we got them through a local radio station. We found out about them. We spent $1,000 on presents for the kids, and we got them PlayStations. We got them all kinds of stuff. It was great. Took them over there, wrapped them, took them over there. And the father, and this is the part that can get a little emotional, he had one thing that had survived of his Star Wars collection. And he gave that back to me. He told me, he said, if you can use this to help another family, then please do it. And I've always kept that and just looked at it. Every time things kind of seem like, man, what am I doing? I look at that and I say to myself,